CBS News recently announced their digital journalists and associate producers selected to cover the 2020 presidential campaign. However, many on social media were quick to point out one glaring omission: the lack of African-American journalists. For example, Twitter user Jay Williams B tweeted, "This team does not look like our country." While actress Kerry Washington said, "I'm encouraged by the diversity you did include, but when it comes time to discuss the inevitable role that race and racism will play in the election, who will you turn to for a perspective with nuanced and personal understanding of the African-American experience?"
It's true.
Well said, Ms. Washington. So ladies, do you think CBS needs to update their roster for this upcoming election, or is this an overreaction?
I'm going to tell you why diversity is important. This weekend, a reporter for the Washington Post, a very fine reporter, Chelsea James, was covering Senator Kamala Harris, a book event at George Washington University.
Okay.
And the members of her sorority from Howard, AKAs, were there. And when she came and approached the podium, they did their call. Well, Chelsea reported it as a screech. She said, members of her Howard sorority are in the room, and screeched when she mentioned her time there. Did not expect to hear screeches here. When I tell you the AKAs went off, this is an example of why diversity is important, because most Black journalists know about Black Greek organizations, and it's not a screech. So a lot of people were offended and insulted by that.
Yeah.
But instead of Mrs. James asking someone in the room, "Hey, what is that?" You know, she didn't. She actually put out a tweet to try to kind of like make fun of it, and it's actually a call of love that the AKAs did.
Wow.
And so that's an example of why you need diversity from
ma'am.
all cultures.
Absolutely.
All cultures.
I agree with you. And if we can just throw up the picture of these journalists really quick. So here's the thing. I don't know CBS. I don't know anybody there. So I don't know if this is intentional when you look at this.
Yeah.
But it's just really weird to me, CBS, that you would have every single representation, it seems, on the race spectrum, except for Black people. Like, except that one huge race that right now, to me, is a priority when it comes to, when you have diverse players like you just painted, Lonnie, you have different priorities. And today, we have to prioritize voter suppression, race relation issues, police brutality. Can you wake up one day and not read another issue?
And there's no excuse, because you have the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists. You could go there. There are plenty of fine Black journalists that you can get a pool from.
Yes.
And representation.
It's not like they don't exist.
We've talked about how important representation is, and I actually got to experience it firsthand with my son. He told me one day that he hated his curly hair, right?
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like it just broke my heart. And I was like, look at mommy's curly hair, see? And you've been to his school. There's so much diversity, which I absolutely love.
Yes.
But it wasn't until he saw someone on TV doing something that he wanted to do, which is to one day become a soccer player with curly hair like his, that he was like, wait a minute. This is really cool, Mommy. I like it. And I think more than ever, we need that when you are covering a presidential campaign. You need representation.
Well, especially
it's very
this year.
vital.
And I do want to say that Chelsea James, the reporter, did apologize. She took down the tweet. But it's just an example. These were all her apologies and things like that. But this is why it just matters, you guys. Everybody is important. Everybody matters.
And everyone needs to be represented.
Absolutely. I want to share a smaller level, smaller than CBS, you know, that grandiose platform, but then on a smaller level. My good friend, Elaine Welteroth, is the editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue magazine, and she was the youngest and also the only second African-American to be an editor-in-chief in the 110 years of Condé Nast. My point is, she had the amazing job of being able to hire and choose people for the different positions. And because she was intentional about making sure that the cultural experience was represented equally, today Teen Vogue is known as the multicultural magazine that it is.
So great.
To start from the top.
She's no longer there, but she set the foundation.